The lanterns of Arendelle Bay glow softly in the Paris evening, reflecting off the icy waters of the fjord. Beyond the familiar streets and castle walls, a hidden mist drifts from the Northuldra forest, carrying the call of unknown magic. It's a place you can almost feel before you see it, a story waiting to unfold, and a world inviting you to step just a little further. That is where our adventure begins today on Idiot's Guide to Imagineering. Hello, Imagine Idiots, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of Idiot's Guide to Imagineering. Tonight, we are venturing to a place beyond Arendelle that's still full of secrets, where frost and water and forest meet, and maybe, just maybe, a brand new story is waiting to be discovered. But before we wander any further into the unknown, a quick reminder that Idiot's Guide to Imagineering is now fully on YouTube. And you can get those maps and visuals and close-ups, the whole shebang.
Shebang.
Shebang. And if
She
you are...
She bangs.
Okay, Ricky Martin in the house tonight.
Anytime I can bring Ricky Martin into
special
life,
guest. I'm going to put that on in the parentheses on the episode with special guest Ricky Martin. Maybe get some clicks
like
on this
flower,
one.
but she stings like a bee.
Well, if you're listening on audio, you're missing these live performances. But you can catch
every
us.
girl in history.
Wow, she grabbed the mic.
We're not done yet.
It's not over yet.
I had to really step it up. I forgot we were on YouTube already, even though you just told us that.
That's right, folks. You need to get on over to YouTube right now and hit subscribe because you don't want to miss this. Well, I am thrilled to welcome Jenny, who is joining us for her first episode of Season 4, stepping in while Katie is out this week. Welcome, Jenny.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to explore Frozen in Paris with both of you.
Oh, yes.
And I'm clearly here too. And I would like to be known as our resident Frozen freak. So hello.
All right.
That is clear.
Yes.
I don't think anyone was questioning that.
All right.
Before
so
we
team
got
assembled.
on here, I was going to tell a quick story.
Yes. Go ahead.
So one time we were all at the parks together, and I bought the Elsa ears that for some reason had a veil on them.
She's going there.
Not sure why. And Jenny and Steven and Katie, I think it was those three, kept making fun of my veil blowing in the wind. So I got so mad that I cut the veil off. And they still talk
took
about
scissors
these
to the
Elsa
veil.
ears.
Well, the thing is that she was mad at one of us.
She was
I don't
mad
know
at
which
the
one.
park.
She was mad in the park, and the veil was like flowing in the wind and bouncing. And so we were laughing at it, which made her even madder to the point where she got the scissors out
Where
and
did I
chopped
get
that baby
scissors
off.
from? Did
I don't know. It must have been after we left.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like the combination of the veil, and then she had like her sequin lounge fly, and she was just so magical looking, but so angry. And
Yes.
so it was the combination of the two of them that was just so funny.
She looked like the most joyous Disney adult. And there she was, scowling at us.
Yes.
Storming and stomping out of the park.
Just further proof how much I love Elsa and Frozen.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Although I cut her veil off, but we're not sure why she had a veil anyway, so it's fine.
All right. So before we get into it, though, a couple reminders. Follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. We would love to read it on a future podcast.
And FYI, we are recording these episodes weeks and even months before they air. So don't be disappointed if you leave one and don't hear it the next week. We will get to it, I promise.
And don't forget our Instagram at Idiots Imagineering to stay up to date with everything else. Send us a message, say hi. We love making new friends.
Seriously, follow, comment, DM, and share. I'm never going to see it because I don't even know our password, but Steven never misses a notification, so he'll share it with us.
I will screenshot and share. So whoever you want to reach out to, go ahead and reach out there and I'll get it to them. All right. It is time for our weekly prompt. So
Here we go.
since we're jumping into the world of Frozen 2 today, I want to know, what is your favorite Disney sequel of all time? So which follow-up movie took you to a world that you loved and made it even better? And Jenny, I'm going to make you go first.
Gosh, you caught me off guard here. I'm actually usually not the biggest fan of sequels because I don't know, a lot of times they kind of miss the mark. But I actually really liked the new Mary Poppins. I thought it
Oh,
was, for what it was pretty good. It's kind of hard to mess with a classic, but I thought Emily Blunt did a wonderful job.
wow.
I did
Marissa
not
made a
like that
face at that.
movie at all.
That's oh,
We
I
talked
really
about
did
this
not
on
care for
episode
it.
2. Jenny
And
hasn't heard episode 2 yet, so she doesn't even know that we discussed this movie on episode 2, and Marissa went to town on it. So it's
oh
funny that
shoot.
Jenny has now brought
Yes.
it up as her favorite.
That's very surprising because Marissa is like the Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Yeah,
like,
she
ultimate
criticized
fan.
her
yeah,
man.
I did. And I
Whoa.
love
Okay.
him. And this group normally is not a supporter of him, but I am and forever will be. But yeah,
All
so that's
right.
really funny you said that, Jenny.
Well, fine. Then I guess we'll move on from me because I made a bad choice. And what about you, Marissa?
I I'm not going to say Frozen 2 because that's a cop out, but I do really love Frozen 2. It's so good. But I'm going to go with Toy Story 2.
I was
I
gonna say that.
Think about
love
that
that movie.
one.
I love it way more than the original. It's like a comfort movie. I'll put it on as background noise. I can't imagine a world without Jessie and Bullseye. I mean, they just took the story of Toy Story and made it even better. They added characters that are even more beloved than the originals. So it's so naturally what's the word I'm looking for? I just feel like the story naturally developed. It made sense. It didn't feel like they were jumping hoops or anything. It's like they had to do it.
When I think of Toy Story 2, I think of that's the first time, maybe in history, that a sequel lived up to the first one. And I
Mhm.
think it's like one of those
Mm,
examples of like it is possible to create a really good sequel
yeah.
to a classic story. So I agree with you there. I think the third one is right in line
Oh,
with that too.
The third
third
One,
one's
one
the
two,
best.
one,
hurts
two,
my
and
heart.
three just
Yeah.
So,
that was a trifecta right there.
yeah,
4 kind of went off
Ugh.
is
base for me.
Yeah. Should have wrapped
a
with 3.
Yeah.
nightmare.
So optimistic for 5. I think they know they can't get 5 wrong.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna really be careful with that, because if they put it to rest at the end of 4 and said it was over, and now they're coming back with 5, I think they've got to do it justice. So
Storyline sounds promising.
yeah,
When does
well, we'll
that come
find out
out?
in a few months. It comes out in June.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I feel like we've been waiting
Yeah,
forever for it now.
good choice. So for mine,
I was gonna say I wasn't gonna ask you yours because you said Toy Story 2, but
I
do you
was
have
gonna say
another
Toy Story 2,
do you have
but
another good one?
I'm gonna say Zootopia 2, because it's fresh on my mind.
I
I've
still
seen it
haven't seen
twice
it.
now. Marissa
Me
still hasn't
neither.
seen it. Jenny
I
hasn't
have
seen it.
not.
Katie hasn't seen it. Amanda finally saw it.
I've heard
I
nothing but good things though.
I saw it a second time with my nephew while I was home for the holidays, and it was just as good, if not better, than the first time I watched it. So there's just so much detail to it that you could watch it probably 10 times and see something new every time. So get to the theaters. I don't know if it's definitely not in theaters anymore by the time this airs, but hopefully it's on Disney Plus by now, so everyone can be watching it,
That's what
because
I'm waiting for.
it's another one that I feel like it was not forced, and they took the time, they waited almost 10 years and did right by it. So Zootopia 2 is that girl for 2025.
I think Marissa's holding out for Luca too. I think
She
that
is.
is where
Big fan of Luca.
big
That's
Luca
not
fan.
actually happening, is it?
Not
No,
yet.
I don't.
But we
I don't
like to
know.
manifest on here, so
We
maybe we could get
do.
it
I'm gonna
going.
manifest that they don't do that. Why?
Oh my god.
Wow.
She has
Okay.
strong
Ugh.
feelings. All right. Well, on that note, it is time for our Imagineering project of the week. So for those joining us for the for those joining us for the first time, each week our team selects a project manager to develop a thoughtful, strategic proposal for a new or updated Disney experience. Our ideas are grounded in reality, taking into account current technology, existing park infrastructure, and the principles that make Disney magic work. While we're mindful of budgets, we're not bound by them, giving us the freedom to explore ideas that are informed, imaginative, and educational, offering a peek into how Imagineering balances story, design, and guest experience. This week's project manager is Stephen.
Into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
Well, World of Frozen opens at Disneyland Paris on March 29th, 2026, joining Frozen Ever After at Epcot, Arendelle in Tokyo Disney Sea, and Hong Kong's World of Frozen. And at the heart of the land is the third version of Frozen Ever After, which will be updated with new animatronics, extended scenes, and advanced projection and lighting effects. So, across the land, guests can enjoy the Snowflower Festival on the bay with songs from the films and some Paris-exclusive music, which will be exciting. You can meet Anna, Elsa, and Olaf, including Olaf as the free-roaming animatronic that we're all so excited about.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
And you can explore the village for surprises and characters and dining and merchandise, including Runa, and I might be saying her name wrong, which is this interactive Paris-exclusive baby troll that like hangs off your body. It looks like a popcorn bucket, but
That's
and
what I
they,
thought
like,
it was at
It's so
first. I thought it was
Yeah.
a popcorn
It-
bucket.
it like interacts with you, and when you walk by other trolls, it'll like acknowledge them.
Oh my
So it's the
gosh.
cutest little
That's
thing.
wild.
So
That
I think
reminds
we
me
need
of
to go
those-
just for that.
Remember those Pal Mickeys they had back in the day
Yes.
that
Oh,
were
yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
do that and they never
Mhm.
did?
Yeah.
These are cuter.
So
and they look like
this
they're
is
in
the cutest little
popcorn
thing.
buckets. So even
Mhm.
better.
So we got to go get us a Runa.
Yes, let's go.
Well, it goes without saying that this is a very exciting time for Paris. On March 29th, the park will officially change its name to Disney Adventure World, and we are standing on the edge of one of the biggest Disney park makeovers in history. The only thing that I can compare this to is probably the California Adventure identity overhaul that happened in the early 2010s. So it's exciting to see where this is going because that park has needed it for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone say anything great about that park. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's just completely redone for the better.
I went a few years back and I don't remember much of it. I rode Crush's Coaster, which actually was incredible.
Yeah.
I rode Ratatouille, but it was also very crowded the day that I went, so I don't remember too much of what I did. So I need to go back, but obviously there's a lot to look forward to when going back. So we will all get there soon. I'm
Just take
hoping
a
for all
community
of us.
field trip.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, for anyone who may not know, World of Frozen sits at the very back of the park behind the new Adventure Bay that they're building. So that's the new lagoon feature that is really kind of the foundation for this whole new expansion here. And the only additional IP that is confirmed to join Frozen along the bay is The Lion King. With a new water flume attraction that is already under construction, and it looks incredible. I cannot wait for this one. I can't believe it's been 30-something years and we've never gotten a true Lion King ride.
No,
So-
weird.
So they're doing the most over there, and we're excited for that. But this leaves a full expansion pad on each side of World of Frozen. And that is the space that I want to focus on today. So
Ooh.
back in December on our State of the Kingdom address, we talked about there was a strong rumor that the land between Frozen and Lion King could be used for an Avatar Pandora area. And Star Wars has also been floated to go in that spot for several years, which is why I've just chosen to leave that section alone for today's project, because I think we're going to get some type of announcement that something's going there. But there is plenty of space on the other side of the world of Frozen that is just begging to be developed.
Oh.
And you know, us idiots are always looking for empty space because it is very hard to come by in real life Disney parks. And not to mention, after 3 full seasons of projects we have created, we've used a lot of space and we like to avoid and reusing it because in our minds, that is an existing place. Jenny will tell you when she goes to Hall of Presidents and thinks that it's something else, or she has to see it one last time because it's something else that we made up. So in our minds, these projects are real and we don't build over them.
I was going to say we might have to start tearing some of them down, though.
Marissa's going into demolition mode for season 4. That's going to be season 5. Is we just tear down everything we've done and rebuild it.
Yes.
You know, the Luca attraction that Katie has built is going first. Sorry, Katie. Love you, girl.
Katie's not even here to defend herself.
Oh
that was like one of
goodness.
the best episodes from last season. People loved that episode.
Listen, the attraction was amazing, but you know I hate that IP so much.
Well, everybody, go
Sorry,
ride that.
Katie.
Go ride our imaginary Luca ride while you can before Marissa tears it down.
Bulldozes it.
She comes in like a wrecking ball. Wow. So good. You
Wrecking
can't say a lyric on this
ball.
show without somebody singing, and it's usually Marissa.
And it's usually
Yes.
me. I think
It's
it's
always
always me.
Marissa.
Actually, I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
anyone else does it. Sorry.
Well, speaking of Katie, I do want to quickly point out that she did suggest back on the premiere that we should go international this season. So, Katie, when you listen to this, just know that you were my inspiration for this episode. And yes, this is our first ever non-US based project after 80 completed projects.
That's
Isn't that crazy? We've done 80 projects, and today, as 81, is our first time we've ever left the
really?
States. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I guess
we've
not
only done-
counting our cruise ship.
Well, yeah, the cruise ship, that's
That was its own
international
thing.
waters.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah, so
but it poured
technically,
it out of
yes.
the US.
Jeez,
So,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
I wonder if anyone who frequents Paris is listening and if they're going to be highly critical of us like some of our other listeners are, but we welcome that feedback.
We do. We've got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of listeners in France and the UK. So I think we have a big Disneyland Paris
Yeah, I figured.
fan base, a big Disneyland Paris presence listening to us. So hello to all of our listeners across the pond over there. We are thankful that you're tuning in, and we would love your feedback on this project since you are frequent visitors of this park.
And you're the only one between the three of us who've been there. Jenny,
Yes,
have
I
not
am.
gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Katie and Amanda have been, and they're the
Yeah.
two that aren't here tonight. So
Yeah.
they can also weigh in on their thoughts of this one.
Yeah.
But maybe this
Yeah.
will encourage the two of you to go out there for the imaginary attraction and experience that I'm
Yes,
about
exactly.
to provide.
That's
So
going to take us there.
we're all going out there
Just a
to
little
see what
business trip, you know?
see what Steven's created, just to look at the land, look at the plot of land. We're gonna really get some boots on the ground for a site tour here. So here is where I put on my Disney exec cap during the initial planning stages. So I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do, and then I went into this full strategic analysis mode, which,
course
if
you
anyone
did.
knows me, shocking. So I began researching the pros and cons and looking at whether this idea would even make sense in the real world. And that took me down a rabbit hole of moments where Disney has faced this exact kind of crossroads before. I think the clearest modern example of a big swing that did not hit is the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. It was a
Yeah.
very, very bold idea, a massive investment, incredibly ambitious, but ultimately it became a kind of cautionary tale about risk that does not land. And that led me straight to our Imagineering term of the week,
Ooh.
which is risk appetite.
What is that?
Interesting.
So this is obviously a very different take on our term than previous weeks. It lends itself more toward the business side of things and less on the creative, but it doesn't mean it's not a crucial factor in getting any blue sky concept off the ground. And the definition of risk appetite from an Imagineering context is the willingness of a project team or Disney leadership to pursue a concept that may be technically challenging, expensive, or untested versus staying with something proven. So that's kind
That's a
of
good example.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we are with this. So at the end of the day, these parks are cash cows for the Walt Disney Company, and taking a leap into the unknown. That's the second time I've used that pun tonight, but so I'm sure there are 5 more coming. But it's kind of a move they have to justify to shareholders. And that pressure can absolutely influence how bold or cautious they're going to be. And every decision involves a trade off, whether it's budget or safety or guest experience, market appeal, brand alignment. Imagineers often frame their choices in terms of how much risk the company is willing to take, and that is their risk appetite.
No.
So, today I'm going to walk through my rationale on both sides of the risk appetite conversation and why this concept could be seen as risky and why it could be seen as safe, and ultimately why I think it's worth pursuing. So, my proposal is to expand World of Frozen by bringing to life the mysterious land of Northuldra from Frozen 2.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I think of Frozen 2, Stephen, I just think of us watching that documentary over and over again.
That documentary, I could spend the next hour and a half talking about that documentary. Have you ever watched it, Jenny?
No, wait, which one are you talking
Oh
about?
my gosh.
The making of Frozen 2 on Disney Plus.
No.
I'm telling you,
was
it'll hold
incredible.
up. If you watch it today, that it came out during right when COVID was going on. Disney Plus had just come out. It was one of the first big documentaries they released on there. It's 6 episodes, gripping. I tell you what, the one ends, it's 3 a.m. I'm like, what's 4 a.m. at this point? I'm not going to bed.
You rewatched the entire thing with me.
I've
You'd already
rewatched it
seen
probably 4 times. People will come over and I'm like, sit down. And they're like, I don't care anything about Frozen. And I'm like, well, you're about
Doesn't
to.
matter.
You're gonna, because once you watch this, it's going to change your life. It's better than the movie, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
it really is.
telling
Is
you-
it just like a making of?
Yes.
But
It is
so
it is so
much-
emotional. It is so cool. It is so invested.
There's one episode where they're just trying to figure out the ending of one
don't even know.
song, and they don't know if they're going to finish.
They don't know
it.
what
They
the
don't know what
story's
to
going to
do.
be. And the same day they're watching the teaser trailer go out and they're like, we have just released this to the world and we don't even know what this movie's going to end as. We don't even know where this story's going. And it's the
Whoa.
chaos of them counting down to these deadlines. And it shows the animators that are these young kids that are in there trying to animate something and showing it in front of the producers and directors of this movie. And they're tearing their stuff to shreds. And it's
Yeah.
how are they? But it gets them to try harder and push harder to create the most incredible things. So I'm telling you, I've got to stop because for time's sake, this is already going to be a long
Okay,
episode.
yeah.
And I
Go watch
don't
this.
love behind the scenes making of things,
Ooh,
documentaries
Sayo.
like that. I'm obsessed. I feel like I need to do a rewatch now.
I will cry every time. It is so emotional, tears streaming down my face. There's it goes into their personal lives. It is so good. I've hyped
okay.
this up to be as good as I probably haven't hyped it up enough. Normally I'm oh, I probably oversold it. I couldn't oversell this if I tried.
Well, and
So-
Frozen 2 had
Whoa.
already come out at that point, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
how are they going to finish this movie? They're not
You're
going to be able to do
You
this.
feel like you don't even know if it's going to make the
And I'm
deadline.
like,
Are they
okay,
going to
well,
get
the
this
movie-
movie out in
the
time?
movie's
We've already
out,
seen
so-
it. It's on.
Yeah.
So please go watch that.
Okay.
Okay, 45 minutes later, we're
Sorry.
back. we're back to the
Just had to
outline
say
Back to
here.
the
it, 'cause we're
project.
such fans of that.
Yes. Yes. Well, if you take a look at a map of the current area around Adventure Bay, you're going to notice that there is a bridge over a little channel that takes you to Arendelle. And on the other side of this bridge is where I'm envisioning the placement of Northuldra. So to me, I'm imagining that little channel is like a fjord that's dividing the village from this mystic land. So it kind of separates them as to two different things that kind of go together. So at the very front of the new land, guests are going to approach 4 large monoliths that are representing elemental spirits. And this marks the entrance to Northuldra. So in the film, Elsa uses her magic to pass through this impenetrable mist that surrounds the enchanted forest. And in our version, she's opened it up for everyone to enter. But it's still going to be a little bit misty and mysterious. So we're going for full placemaking here. And it's going to be this billowing fog and mist and this unsettling sound of a voice that's calling out to Elsa here. So you're going to hear the and it's going to be a
that was
little
good.
bit creepy.
Yeah.
You're kind of uneasy,
Yeah.
but in a very Disney way.
Okay.
So as you pass through, you're going to hear more sounds of the Northuldra people singing the iconic opening chant from the first movie, which is Vuele. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I think it's Vuele, which is
Is that
that
the na.
Oh, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So we're going to play with classic Imagineering tricks here and represent the four elements. So wind is going to blow through trees. Rocks are going to move up and down, and it's going to kind of imitate this idea that they're snoring. And so the rocks are kind of like asleep around you, and you don't want to wake them up.
So the trolls.
Yeah, water is going to splash around above you. I'm picturing like these jumping water fountains like you see
Oh, yeah.
at like maybe like Imagination or something like that. And that's really going to kind of represent the spirit of the Nokk, which is that water horse spirit that Elsa rides in the movie.
Yeah.
And also keep an eye out for sightings of Bruni, the little fire salamander who we
He's
all
so
love.
cute.
He's going to move really quickly, but he always leaves a fire trail behind him. So keep an eye for that fire trail. You may never see him because he's so quick, but you will see his fire. But yeah, kinetics are going to be key here. I want you to be visually impressed with everything immediately. Everything's moving. Everything is like you have entered these enchanted woods is the point here. So much that you don't know where to look. You're looking everywhere. There's too much to see. You've forgotten the real world exists by now. So, up to this point, Northuldra is meant to be a place that is explored on foot. It is atmospheric, it's alive, but atmosphere alone could never justify a major park expansion. We're not just doing this for you to walk through.
Although I would be happy to.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I mean, I think if this wasn't like, I wasn't considering this like a full expansion pad, almost second land expansion, I would think it's okay just to add like a walkthrough experience. But this is
Add like a
this is
bathroom, like in the Tangled
true,
bathroom at Magic
like
Kingdom.
tangled bathrooms. Yeah.
So I was thinking like the Moana
Mm.
water. What is the Moana
The
water? Like
the
something like
water,
that.
Journey
I
of
think.
Water.
Yeah, Journey of Water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is not that. This is going to be much more. That's basically just the entrance.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, so when Disney expands an existing IP, especially one that is as well traveled as Frozen, there has to be a clear reason. And creatively and strategically, the land needs a headline experience, if you ask me. So it's got to be something that fills the queue from morning to night and gives guests a reason to choose seeing this version of Frozen over any other.
Mhm.
Now, Frozen Ever After, the boat ride that we all know and love from Epcot, which is going to be a kind of copy paste for the most part, it delivers the core story of Frozen 1 really beautifully. Simply importing another familiar attraction like the sliding sleigh coaster from Hong Kong would be safe, but it's not going to move the needle. I think Paris needs something that's bold enough to stand on its own and give the park a unique voice in the global Frozen lineup.
Yeah, and if you're adding Northuldra, which the other parks don't have, it needs something different and unique that you wouldn't find at the other parks.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thought is what gives Paris its own unique experience. So from the beginning, I just felt it had to be something different and something that lets guests engage in the Frozen experience instead of just watching it play out this time.
Mhm.
So in Frozen 2, the pivotal moment in Elsa's journey is when she bonds with that Nokk, that water horse spirit. And once she earns its trust, she gains the freedom to move between land and water and ice. And that is the experience that I wanted to build here. And I really thought about this. I was like, how can we make guests ride a horse? Like, I don't want to put them on this like carousel horse and send them on a ride around. Like, it has to make sense, and it has to be a reason that makes sense in modern day theme park, expansion. And the headline for Northuldra is not going to be a coaster. It's not going to be a walkthrough. It is not another boat ride. It is going to be a horseback riding experience where guests bond with the Nokk.
Ooh.
And the way we're going to do that is by using the same ride system as Flight of Passage, but reimagined for a horseback style riding.
Wow.
So So this technology has only ever been used one time. As far as I know, it's only been used for Flight of Passage. So what this is going to do is allow each guest to feel uniquely connected with their Nokk. And each Nokk is going to respond to the movements of water and ice and wind beneath them. And I know there's only one in the movie, but in Scandinavian folklore, there could be many more than just one of these water horses. So every guest is going to meet their own spirit and kind of create this personal connection, much like the Banshee pairing in Pandora. So when you get into the pre-show and when you're boarding your Nokk, you're getting your own experience. So your Nokk is different than someone's next to you, and they'll have subtle little differences to them, and you'll feel like it's your own thing.
I was gonna say, what will the ride vehicles / seating look like? Because right now for Pandora, it's kind of like the bicycle feeling, which makes more sense. But for a horse, I feel like you need
It's gonna
something
look
different.
It's going to look more like a saddle on glass.
Okay.
So imagine it
cool.
like you won't see the head of the horse, but
Yeah.
you'll be seated on this kind of saddle that's on a glass-looking clear horse body shape.
Okay.
So it'll look very
Interesting.
visually kind of abstract, but icy and really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. That's cool.
So the attraction is going to be set after Frozen 2. Elsa has embraced her role as the fifth spirit, spoiler alert, but the balance between the elements is still very fragile. So it's not like everything's just hunky-dory. It's got to be maintained. So guests are summoned to do this ride, and not just as observers, but as participants. And Elsa needs help restoring the harmony. And the only way to do that is through bonding with these Nokks. And so the experience is going to begin very quietly. Guests are going to mount their horse inside this crystal cavern that's kind of carved into a glacier. And that's how you enter the attraction. The queue will all be through this glacier. And as you get onto the horse, that you're going to have the sounds of water rippling beneath you. The floor will look kind of like it's moving and watery. The air is going to be very cold in there. It'll be blowing like you're inside of this glacier. And the room is going to go pitch black. And you're going to hear Elsa's voice remind you that trust is key. And then you move. And into the unknown will begin to swell as you skim across endless water. You're going to surge through sheets of ice. You're going to rise into thick mist as wind blows past you. And at times it's powerful and really fast, and at other times it's very calm and almost very still. But you're hovering above the forest as it's kind of like living and breathing around you.
I'm obsessed with this already.
Gosh, I know.
Yeah, so I think I wanted to feel like you're kind of passing all the familiar things from the movie, but it's not like literal moments from the movie. It's just like you're in these landscapes. So you're going to see like the whispering forest from the movie. You're going to see the enchanted river, these elemental waterfalls where these giant stone creature trolls are. And it's really just unfolding around you. And it's really this experience that only a ride can deliver to you. I thought about a moment like when you're in the enchanted forest that maybe all the reindeer like Sven like kind of run up to the side of you, like you're all running together through the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's like that, and maybe you don't see any of the characters is my thought. Is like this is more, it's more the essence of Frozen than the characters of Frozen. So you hear Elsa, but you may never see her. And if the reindeer run by, it's not like Kristoff is riding one of them, but you're in this experience living in the moment. So toward the end, Show Yourself is going to really close this out on a high note. And it's really, that's like your moment where you have reached this freedom and you are connected to the elements and to nature. And so it's really like the whole thing is not about this being like this speedy thrill ride. It's about really feeling like you're connecting with everything around you and your actual horse spirit. So after Show Yourself finishes, the room will go dark again and you'll prepare to dismount. And Elsa will remind you that what she learned from Frozen 2, that water has memory. And your Nokk is a water spirit, so you have formed this bond with your Nokk that will remember you forever. So you've left kind of your mark in the future of this ride, and you'll always be remembered by this moment that you had with it. So that's kind of the attraction idea that I had to kind of anchor and justify expanding this part of the park.
I love that you're not making it just a Frozen retelling movie with throwing every character and all the silly things Olaf does, because we have those already. And I feel like this is much more connected to nature. And even though obviously this is not Pandora, I feel like a lot of what you're saying reminds me of
Right.
that flight with your Banshee, just in Northuldra and the world of Frozen instead.
Right. I think the ride system kind of lends itself to creating this dynamic environmental experience rather than a narrative.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. It's more look at everything around you and feel the moment instead of this is what's happening. Now this is what's happening. Now this is what's so like you're kind of just in this moment, like you're on the ride of your life with this, otherworldly spirit beneath you that's taking you on this journey. So it's completely different. And that was the whole idea, is that it's completely different from Frozen Ever After. If you want to experience Frozen literal, you've got that. And if you want to experience Frozen unlocked, you go here.
Yeah. I love it. It kind of reminds what's it's kind of been big for a while are these like ambiance videos and stuff.
Yes.
And it kind of feels like I think sometimes people just want to live in that world. They don't need this big story going on. And that's what this kind of feels like. It's just getting you into that world for this period.
And I'm glad you said that, because it makes me think about kind of Walt's original ideas of attractions. Like he didn't create Pirates of the Caribbean to have this literal narrative. He wanted you to feel like you were in a pirate village, and that's what you get. And so this is kind of the same thing. And so I wanted to, I like, now that you say that, it makes me think that this is a really good kind of homage back to Walt's original storytelling way that wasn't so linear. So you're getting this experience that isn't really saying where you're supposed to be in a timeline. It's saying you're in a moment and you're taking it all in.
Yeah.
I don't think you talked about this. Is it going to be like 4D? Like, will there be wind and water shooting out at you?
You're going to get all of that. You'll feel the wind. You'll feel the water. You'll be wearing glasses. I didn't think of a way to make that. I'm sure there's a way to incorporate why you'd be wearing glasses. Maybe they're wind goggles or something, like to protect your eyes. Did they have those back then? I don't know, but we'll figure out a way for that.
Yeah. Ooh, will your Nokk be like breathing? Like you can feel
exactly. So you'll feel it breathing beneath your between your legs. I don't know, beneath you. So it's going to be very much the experience that you're familiar with from Flight of Passage, but a completely different take on it. And another thing that I had to think about is like a lot of this is very low to the ground. I think there are moments where the Nokk will fly a little bit, but for the most part, you've got to feel like you're riding like on the top of the water or through the woods, and so it's not going to be a swoopy for the majority of the time. There will be moments, but it's not going to be so that's kind of another big difference from Flight of Passage. You're not flying necessarily, you're more grounded on this, so there's got to be a difference in the movement.
Yeah.
Well, when I thought about this on paper, it is a risk. This is not the original Frozen story that everybody already knows. Northuldra is not a household name like Arendelle. It's an experience that's not necessarily built on nostalgia the same way that Frozen Ever After is. And so you're kind of asking guests to follow Frozen to somewhere unfamiliar. And the ride itself takes a lot of risks too. It's really adapting this system that was, like we were just saying, originally designed for flying banshees, and we're now trying to make it grounded. And it's only ever been used once. So do we know that it will work again, especially when it's a very different capacity? But it also additionally makes a very intentional choice about who the attraction is for, which is another risk here. Unlike Frozen Ever After, it's not designed primarily for children. This is not for young kids who want to see Elsa and Anna and Olaf, like Marissa was saying, like just dancing around and being fun. It's much bigger, it's more emotional, it's definitely going to be more intense. um I'm thinking of it in a way of, it's like for this generation that grew up with Frozen and is getting older.
Yeah.
And it's been over 12 years since the first movie came out, and these people who were young, and even us when we were younger, we're all older now, and I feel like the ride is kind of meeting you there and has grown with you. So it's like when you're a child, you can do Frozen Ever After, and then like think about someday I'll get to ride, if it's a height limit thing, or if it's just like I'm not old, I'm not ready for that level of, I don't want to say thrill, but you know what I mean. So I think it kind of is a cool way to give dynamic to Frozen, to make it not just for kids. And I think it's going to be inviting to all the nostalgists out there, but then also kind of reward them that it's something more thrilling on the end of Frozen that you never really expected to see from that IP. And do you have something?
I was thinking if there was going to be a height limit on this
Mhm.
when you were talking. And then I was thinking, well, Avatar, I'm pretty sure, does have a height limit. So if it's the
Mhm.
same ride,
It would be. It'd be the exact same height
so the
limit
little
as
kids who might
Avatar.
love it, like I have nieces who wouldn't be able to ride right now.
Mhm.
They're too
So,
small.
exactly. And so that's another key component of risk here, which
Yeah.
is, going back to our term of the week, risk appetite. I was thinking about all of these things, like, and kind of, I wanted to see both sides of it. I wanted to play this kind of devil's advocate with my own experience to say, well, this sounds really cool, but you're limiting it to not having this, or this is really amazing, but that definitely has never worked before. So why would it work here? So, and then when it comes down to it, I think the biggest risk of all is that this project is committing a full expansion pad to Frozen, a second area of Frozen, and this land could go to an entirely different IP, and give more variety and balance to the park. And instead, we're going to use it to push this existing franchise that a lot of people will say has been beaten like a dead horse, for lack of a better term here, when
I
we're
know
talking about the
Katie would
connecting
feel
to
that
one.
way, and she's
Yeah.
never even seen it.
And so we're taking Frozen to another level, and we're bringing more Frozen to the park. So there's going to be pushback on that too. But on the devil's advocate side, Frozen's one of the most popular things that Disney has done in the past, probably 2 decades. So it's all this give and take of risk. And so I think when it comes down to it, that's where a lot of these proposals stop. When it comes to Imagineering, people are throwing out really cool ideas, and it gets to a point where people say no. And but when I thought about this, I wanted to make it very clear that my choice for this attraction and this risk was not just like for fun and accidental and unintentional. I thought of it in a very poetic kind of way, that Frozen 2 itself is a story about stepping into the unknown and trusting change and letting go of what feels safe.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this expansion to Northuldra is literally living the movie, because it's not repeating what's already worked. They didn't do the same story as Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. And Frozen 2, up until Zootopia 2, was the biggest animated movie of all time. So I think it's kind of, like I said, it's asking the audience to grow with the story. And so in doing so, it's creating something that's completely exclusive that you can only experience in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another really cool risk you took too was having no characters in a movie where people are so attached to the characters of the movie. It kind of reminds me of, actually, I don't know if you remember, but when we were making our North America Land season 1, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do with that Pocahontas ride, we did talk about that sequence from the Polar Express where you're chasing that ticket. There's no
Mhm.
characters in it. And,
Yep.
you're watching the ticket go off to, like
Yes.
roll down the hill. And in
You're
that moment,
on that ride with the ticket.
yes, there are
Yeah.
no characters with you, but it's still so it's gripping. Like you're
You're
waiting to see
locked
where you end
in.
up.
Like
Yes.
exactly. You
And,
feel you're the character.
right.
And that's what I want you to be. You don't need a character to tell
Yeah.
you what story you're living because you're it. You are
Right.
Elsa now. You are Anna. You are Olaf. And that's what I want this to be because in the other ride, you're just a
You're a
bystander.
viewer. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. So that was the whole point. And so that is that's my idea. And when it comes down to it, I really want to drive home this idea of risk appetite versus safety.
Yeah.
And I may have outdone myself with
Oh,
this
no, what'd
episode
you
because
do?
today you are getting a BOGO. That is right,
What?
folks. This is 2 projects for the price of 1. I have challenged myself to create a second pitch that
Oh
would be
my
a safer
gosh.
option that has
Oh my
been proven to work
goodness.
with timeless
Jeez.
IP that is currently not represented inside the park.
Man, do
And
you
with
sleep?
that,
I know, right? My goodness.
2 projects in
2
one.
projects. This was crazy. I came
You're
up with this
nuts.
halfway through this episode. I was like, well, if I'm talking about risk appetite, I need to talk about both sides of it, right? I need to give you a project that could be either one, right? Here's the risky one and here's the safe one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just like, you know what? People are gonna like it, and if you don't, get out of here. But not for Steven.
Not for me, folks.
Wow.
I've always
we
got
go.
something else.
Wild.
And with that, let's take to the skies as we head to Neverland.
Come on, everybody. Here we go. Up to Neverland.
Well, Peter Pan is one of Disney's oldest and most enduring stories, and it has been delighting audiences for over 75 years in the theme parks. And it's as close to a guaranteed crowd pleaser as you can get. And if you want an attraction that families can trust and generations will recognize and guests will actively seek out, Peter Pan is your man. So the concept here is very simple. It's going to be a Neverland-inspired area that is kind of the same version you get at Fantasy Springs in Tokyo Disney Sea. I'm just picturing these lush, like storybook layered environments that are going to move guests from like Skull Rock to Mermaid Lagoon to the Lost Boys hideout. And this is not a reinvention in any way. This is a careful translation of something that already works extremely well.
Okay.
And the anchor attraction here would be a direct copy paste of Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure in Tokyo. So for anyone unfamiliar with that, this is not a traditional Peter Pan ride like you see at Peter Pan's Flight. Guests would board a motion-based boat vehicle and wear 3D glasses and follow Peter Pan and Tinkerbell and the Lost Boys on this mission to rescue John from Captain Hook. And it blends physical sets and screens and motion and tilting and perspective to create this sensation like you are flying through Neverland. It's kind of similar to Spider-Man at Universal, but it's very modernized and Disney-fied. So if you to give you a better idea if you can't picture it. So from a risk standpoint, this is about as safe as it gets. This is a IP that's timeless. It's an attraction that's proven. The layout and pacing and guest response are already known. For Disney leadership, this is the kind of project that checks every box for them, and it's going to raise no eyebrows across the table. They're going to say, we know it works. People love it. Let's do it. Aesthetically, I think it would follow very closely to the Frozen Springs version. It's going to have all the charm and the color. The storybook feel is going to remain largely intact here. So there will be a few Paris-specific touches, but nothing radical, nothing experimental. You know what you're getting here.
Yeah.
I did consider one original element that's not this big anchor, like a new attraction, but I thought about adding kind of a reimagined version of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And instead of transforming into princesses, you could become a lost boy or maybe a
cute.
Tinkerbell-inspired fairy. I just thought it would be this like playful, it's super marketable. Once again, very tested type experience that Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique has been around for 20 plus years at this point, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought it would really fit into this world and kind of counterbalance the princess thing in a really cool way for this park. But yeah, so at this point, this version of Neverland is very low risk. It's likely a very easy approval from the exec team. I think it would be very popular. I would love to see this there. That attraction is incredible. I wrote it 3 or 4 times, so I I really just think it would work. But going back to my devil's advocate, it's not going to be exclusive in the same way that Northuldra is. And much like the current world of Frozen, it's delivering something that guests already know that they love rather than kind of pushing them and asking them to discover something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh. I say go for the risk.
Well, yeah, I think when you zoom out and really look at how Disney parks and Imagineering operate, this exact situation plays out over and over and over again. And it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just hypothetically. I think this is really happening in boardrooms, really happening in blue sky sessions. I think they're looking at every piece of real estate across every park globally and
Mhm.
throwing out cool ideas that are getting struck down immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of leads me to the thought of there's this idea among fans that there's always a right answer to this and that originality is automatically better
Mhm.
and or safety is automatically boring. And you'll see this when Disney releases an announcement about something that the guests will go off, or we've seen it with the movies and the live action remakes. But I don't think it's really that black and white, and I don't think it really works that way, that everything has to be this brand new experience or everything should be this safe experience. I think there's no universal right or wrong here. I think you can take huge creative swings that will change the industry forever. Like if you think about, we talked about Pirates of the Caribbean, you think about Haunted Mansion, Flight of Passage itself, those were all risks
Yes.
and they paid off in ways that nobody really could have predicted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think you can also take a huge creative swing and miss completely. Like Disney history is full of those too. There's projects that probably sounded really exciting on paper and pushed something new and simply didn't connect.
Mhm.
Right.
And on the flip side, I think you can rely on familiarity and legacy to create something that becomes an instant reliable crowd pleaser. Like Disney's built on nostalgia, and that's what keeps us coming back. And so it's something that guests understand immediately, and something that
Mhm.
drives wait times and merchandise and emotional comfort.
Mhm.
And I think that has a lot of value. Like thinking back to our Winnie the Pooh cabin episode from episode 3, emotion is driving a lot of what happens here. And so if it's
Yeah.
something and you're emotionally connected to, you're going to want to do it and experience it. So,
Yeah.
but at this,
I
yeah.
think an example of that would kind of be the new Fantasyland from a while back.
Mhm.
There's nothing overly, I don't know, there's nothing overly original there. We obviously Dumbo was enhanced, and we knew that the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train would do very well. All these things would do well, but it's just a huge land of nostalgia.
It is.
And it, obviously it's worked out so well, but it
Little
really,
Mermaid was a copy paste, but
yes,
that thing
Mhm.
always has a wait. So,
right.
and look at Peter Pan's Flight. It's been around since the park opened, and it is consistently
tried
one of
and
the
true.
longest wait times in the
Yep.
park.
Always.
So people go with what they know, but also safe bets can disappoint. And sometimes they do feel redundant and people don't want to see them and they don't want to retread over the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I think it can kind of be redundant and people will see it as lazy, I think. And so that's why I kind of push back on the idea that Imagineering decisions are like this so clear it has to be one way or the other, because I don't think they are, and I don't think they've ever been. And I
No.
think these Disney purists are going to yell no matter what you do. You cannot please everyone.
Mhm.
We know this. We're going to yell if we don't like something. Like we're the first ones to
Yeah.
say this was a mistake. This felt, disappointing when we could have had
Mhm.
something new. And if you build Northuldra, they're going to say it's too unfamiliar, it's too risky. If you build Neverland, they're going to say it's lazy, it's repetitive, it's they're afraid of doing something new. But both groups are going to be convinced that they're right. And I
Mm.
think when you think about it big picture and you think about the long-term health of the park, you're actually needing both types of projects. You need
Yeah.
both things to make a successful park. And you've got to have these bold swings that expand what a Disney park can be and push to the limit and take the risk that pays off in this incredible way that no one ever predicted. And you've got to have the ones that grandparents recognize and kids will latch onto immediately and first time visitors will gravitate to because they don't know what the original ideas are.
Yeah.
Because I think a park built on entirely safe bets is completely predictable, but a park built entirely on risks is almost unstable. Like you can't you gotta have both, and we've got to be able to accept when one comes along or the other comes along and say may not be for me, but I understand how it's balancing the park.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think too, over time, you can almost see this change. Something that wasn't like one of the things that's so interesting to me always is like the resurgence of living with the land. This used to kind
Mhm.
of be a joke
Yes.
ride. It was a
Yep.
5 minute wait. I think the other day it was like a 60-minute wait. But
Mhm.
it's, now among like millennials, this ride that really was kind of this forgotten area is something that everyone loves. So it's kind of one of
Right.
those things too, where over time, it can be a success.
I think you're right, and I think that really speaks to the times changing, and I think social media is a huge influence here
Oh, yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
this idea of like pushing these things out that weren't cool and
Mhm.
become cool. I think about Chili's restaurant, for example.
Yes.
It was kind of a dying brand, but it's now this like trendy, quirky
Yeah.
thing to
Mhm.
post all over TikTok and everything. And it's like done numbers for Chili's,
Yes.
and they're like making these new meeting these new goals they've never met before. It's like things like
Yeah.
that. Like living with the land is cool now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I saw recently, the wait times were like through the roof, like over an hour after park close.
Right.
And so it's you've got to be able to say, what is living with the land? I have no idea what this is. It's a completely original idea. We're going to try it for Epcot and give it some time to breathe. It maybe it's popular at the
Mhm.
beginning and then dies and then it comes back alive. So all these things can take new lives. And I think that's why the risks are really good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also something that has been there for 40 years at this point, or more than 40 years. So it's kind of tried and true in its way that it's a safe bet and people are going to keep going back to it. So I think when it comes down to it, you've got to kind of ask the question of where does this leave us? And honestly, I don't think I know what the correct call is here on the two projects that I propose. I know which one I would personally be
Mhm.
more excited to see, and I know which one speaks to my taste as a fan and as a kind of creator of these projects, but my preference doesn't mean it's right. And the only way to truly know is to build it and have guests respond to it.
Yeah.
And we've seen it time and time again where Disney does something and it kind of reshapes the industry and they're the leader in this and that's why they're the leader in this. And
Mhm.
sometimes something may quietly disappear after,
Mhm.
years of not working. And
Yeah.
we're going to push for this originality all the time. And when it arrives, we kind of argue about whether we liked it or not. And that's the reality of themed entertainment. And there is no formula that guarantees success every time. And I think
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, that it is completely gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you picked the best park for it too, because Disneyland Paris has always had a little bit of an identity crisis, I think,
Mhm.
from what it sounds like, and they're now on their third name coming,
Yeah. Right.
so I think that taking, you either way you could take a huge risk that could pay off, or you could say, we're gonna go with this idea that we know is going to
Mhm.
do really well. And so I think you have picked a great park to come up with this idea for.
Thank you. I feel like it's a park that's evolving, so it has the opportunity to kind of go whatever way it wants to go. And now
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
given it two options, and so we've got these two projects on the table. We've got Northuldra, which is this bold, kind of unfamiliar, emotionally ambitious idea. It really takes the risk. And we've got Neverland, which is safe, very comforting, very proven, leaning on legacy here. Both are valid. I think both, honestly, I think both would probably succeed, but they kind of represent two very different risk appetites. So I want to turn it over to our listeners and our viewers on YouTube and ask this question. If you were deciding which one goes into this expansion plot, which direction would you choose? Are you going to take this leap into Northuldra, or are you going to play it safe and go to Neverland? I want you to vote. I'm going to put up a poll this week on Instagram, so make sure you're following us at Idiots Imagineering, so you can vote on which one you like. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment so that we can know which one you think is the right decision for this. And tell us why if you're commenting, even on Instagram, if you see this post or a post about it. And we want to know why you think one over the other. Well, like we've been doing for this season, I want to sum up our creative intent for the projects in one sentence. And so just kind of like you would find on a park map. So obviously there are two for today. A World of Frozen Northuldra. Step into the mystical forests and waterways of Northuldra, where guests bond with elemental spirits, discover that water has memory, and experience the world of Frozen 2 like never before. And
That sums it up very nicely.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. And for Neverland, enter Neverland, a magical world of pirate hideouts, fairy tale forests, and endless skies, where guests can explore, play, and even step into the story as a lost boy, pirate, or Tinkerbell herself.
It's cute. It's to the point.
It is cute.
But it's not
The Frozen
Northuldra.
freak is not having it. She
No.
hasn't bought it.
Yeah, I am not here for it. Sorry. I'm here for Northuldra. Well, that was an incredible journey through Northuldra. Clearly, I am still riding my horse. What are they? I
Nokk.
never remember.
Nokk.
Nokk. I
Nope.
can never remember
Nokk.
the name of those.
I'm probably saying it wrong. It's probably
Nope.
some like full-on
Yeah, I can
Norwegian
never remember.
pronunciation that I can't say.
But thanks, Stephen, for guiding us through the forest, rivers, and all of the elemental wonders. There was so much to explore here. I feel like we could probably spend days discovering new details.
Yeah, and it's awesome how you can take a story from a sequel and grow it into an entire world. Next week, we're heading somewhere competitive and celebratory, and I might just be back to join in on the fun.
Can't wait for that. Well, before you jump into your week, don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment about today's episode. Would you prefer to explore Northuldra or fly right on over to Neverland?
Yes, and like I mentioned, follow us on Instagram too, at Idiots Imagineering, so you can vote in that poll.
And with that, we hope you have an amazing week full of fun, adventure, and a little bit of magic.
And if you can dream it,
You can make a podcast about it. Bye.
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 Bye.